כל השונה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן עולמו בעזרת השם. Today is the 25th of the month of Tishri. We're here on Tuesday, third day of the week of Shabbat Bereshit בעזרת השם. בסימנה טובה. Mitzvah number 41. We're going to be learning today we're not allowed to use stairs going up the altar. It says ולא תעלה במעלות על מזבחי. And mitzvah number 42. Observe the laws of a Hebrew servant. As it says, כי תקנה עבד עברי. The mitzvot are sponsored today לרפואה שלמה, לכל חולי עמו ישראל ובכללם, לחיה בת לאה, יוסף חיים במברד, יעקב ישראל, דניאל בן אג'לה, לרפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל במהרה. And of course, we want HaKadosh Baruch Hu should return all the hostages that were taken by this Imach Shemam Zichram. The individuals who perpetrated this whole thing should be Be'ezrat Hashem held accountable by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and before that by the Beit Din and by the criminal justice of humans. Do not leave it to Hashem. But in the meanwhile, our hostages should be released. We should daven in a certain way. There's a special tefillah we should make that Kadosh Baruch Hu should the following. The tefillah is the following: Hashem, please make it so that the hostages will have your angel on their heads. And the Aravim should see the angels and run away from fear and leave the hostages alone. Leave the doors and windows open for the hostages to escape and come home safely. All the people who are nifzu, all those people who were harmed by this evil atrocities of this Aravim, the Goyim. As we said many times, the Goy needs only one justification to hurt. Even if there are a billion justifications not to hurt, he'll use that one. It's not just Aravim, anybody. This is the klal. Esav soneh Yaakov, Ishmael. If the Jewish people don't daven, in Chas v'Shalom, as we know in Israel, there were a lot of people who were preventing people from davening, preventing people from putting out tefillin in the streets lately. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should stop all that, and all those people should do tshuva b'meira, and Am Yisrael Chai, and Be'ezrat Hashem, Am Yisrael should do tshuva, and that's how we stop Ishmael. By davening, by putting out tefillin, by coming and learning the shiurim. That's the only way to stop the Ishmael. And the other way to stop the Esav is obviously Esav, and they go against Torah. We don't start davening, we take our arms and we go and fight, just like they did with the sickness 2019, they call it, right? And they stopped the learning of the Torah. Over there, we were supposed to take soldiers, take arms and swords and guns and go fight war. We don't close our yeshivas for nothing. Never it had happened in the history that these people who call themselves rabbis allowed this atrocity to stop the yeshivas from learning. That's the only way we have protection in this world. Be'ezrat Hashem, let's start the shiur. Mitzvah number 41. Shelo lifso ala mizbeach. We are prohibited to go to the mizbeach up the stairs. Shelo la'alot ala mizbeach madregot. The prohibition is the problem is when you go up the stairs is you have to lift up your leg too high and then lift up the second leg and the second half of it, and that's going to consider going up in the mizbeach. It's called psiya gasa, a big step. What are we talking about? Gasot ba'aloto shene'emar, as it says in the Torah, chapter 20 in Shemot 23 pasuk, ve'lo ta'aleh b'ma'alot al mizbechi asher lo tigale erbatecha alav. The Torah tells us a specific reason that why. One of the things is when you make a step, going up the steps with your legs, your inner between the legs will be revealed. And since the Kohanim only wore pants, there was no underwear allowed to be worn by Kohanim. The pants were, and that's made in such a manner that it will be easier for Kohanim to go to travel. Right, they have to make the steps slowly by slowly. And if Chas v'Shalom they would make up the steps going up, the Torah tells us specifically what would happen. The private of the Kohen will be seen by whom? By the stones. And therefore, the Mizbeach was actually 32 feet high, and the ramp was 60 feet long. So the Kohanim would used to go up such a ramp, not in steps. And the way that they go up this way, they go up foot by foot, the toe to ankle, toe to ankle. That's how the Kohen would move around on the going up the Mizbeach. and not up the steps. בצד גודל, וכן נאמר במחילה, okay, it says over there, אלא כשהוא עולה שם הלך בנחת וביראה, עקב בצד עוגל. So again, toe to ankle, toe to ankle, the big toe, the large toe, up to the ankles, that was the way he would travel. משורשי המצווה, what are the foundations of this mitzvah? מה שכתב במצוות הקודם הדלק, לקבוע בנפשותנו יראת המקום והשיבותו. The whole concept of fearing בית המקדש, that there should be awe, the Kohen should be very careful and have trepidation when he's walking in the בית המקדש. ועל כן הוזהרנו שלא לנהוג שם קלות ראש בשום עניין. Therefore, a person has to concentrate and to walk with fear. You don't walk up the stairs like you're exercising. Right? You go slowly by slowly, and you show in that way your reverence, and you show the what's his name? The kedusha of the makom, the holiness of the place, and the importance of it, and it's on your own eyes. But another thing, everybody knows that those stones don't have a problem with, they don't get embarrassed by you. What do you mean? In your house, a person is taking a shower naked in front of the shower of all the tiles. They don't get embarrassed. What's going on? The stones don't see and they don't hear. What's going on? Why did Hashem worry so much? Again, the whole concept is not about stones watching you nakedness. It's about you revealing yourself even in front of the stones. That was and diminishing the importance of the makom at Beit HaMikdash. You have to be so keen on being so meticulous of preserving the kedusha, the holiness. Not even stones should see the private of the Kohen as he goes up, as he would go, would have gone up the steps in the Mizbeach. Therefore, it's a platform, it's a plank, long plank, 60 feet long, go up to 32 feet, about 16 amot, 32 feet high. דיני המצווה, הכיצד עושים הכבש כדי שלא יבואו לעבור עליו בלב זה. So the mitzvah, the entailments of this mitzvah is how to make this ramp, וצורתו וכל עניינו, how it should be made in that design, so the Kohanim should go up in this ramp without revealing themselves and without causing a diminishment of honor of Beit HaMikdash. Everything is discussed in the Mishnayot of Midot, of measurements. Over there in Mishnayot, Gimel and Dalet. Okay. Obviously, this mitzvah was only in the time of the Mikdash. That's when we had the altar. When we have this mitzvah, would be prohibition on everybody, males and females. Even women would not be allowed to go up on the ramp in such a manner. Somebody went ahead, even the way that the altar ramp is designed, that you can't make large steps. But this guy, a Kohen, was in a rush or whatever it was. He was warned, stop doing this. Why are you walking in such a manner up to the ramp of the Mizbeach? If it was enough to open the opening, we don't see his private, but that opening would have already revealed his private to the stones, as will be seen by the witnesses. Depends on the steps that he make. Obviously, we could make assumptions. Even though we don't see ourselves, but we know that the fact that the stones was revealed, his private was revealed to the stones. If he did it on purpose against the warning of the witnesses, he gets slashed. Va'anavim yishkun aretz. What does that mean? But however, the humble people, the humble Kohanim who are careful and meticulous about the holiness of the Mikdash and the holiness of the altar, Hashem will give them a lot of peace in this world, on this earth. Mitzvah number 42. Mitzvah din eved ivri. Well, now we're going to be going into details of one of the mitzvot of LaHaShem in the Torah, which sounds a little bit harsh, but in reality, it's actually beneficial for everybody involved. For everybody involved, we'll see. Let's see. The mitzvah of dealing with a Jewish servant, the way that, what does this mean, a Jewish servant, what happened, how did he become a Jewish servant? So we'll be discussing the next few mitzvot. We'll be entangling and we will be entailing all that has to do with this concept. We have like this. Ladun bedin eved ivri kemo shekatuv. We have an obligation to judge cases of a Jewish servant, as it says in the Torah, in Parashat Mishpatim. It starts off, Ele HaMishpatim ve'ele HaMishpatim. Ish right? Kikne eved ivri. So it says over there in Shemot chapter 31, pasuk bet, Ki tikne eved ivri. Right? Observe when a person acquires a Jewish servant. And chapter 21 in Shemot, pasuk 2. Klomar, what does that mean? שנעשה לו הדברים שנצטווינו בהן. We are obligated to certain mitzvot to perform with this Jewish servant that was unfortunately he fell into this category now that he's called a servant of a Jew, and he's a Jewish servant. A Jewish servant cannot be sold to a goy. Chas v'shalom. We learn many things over there. Even a Jew, even an Eved Kanani, a goyish servant who belongs to a Jew and has already accepted the mitzvot of a woman, he's also be prohibited to sell to a goy. But that's a different scenario. Right now we're going like this. So now, what are we doing with this guy, with this Jew that fell into that unfortunate situation? So we have obligation. We have to know that what happened there was this servant. We'll discuss it in a second, but let's see first of all. The rules over here is that you have to set him free on the 7th year, or let's say if the 50th year happened to be within the 6-year period that he was a servant. As we know that there is 7 years of Shemitah years, right? 6 years of accounting, right? 7th year is the Shemitah, but you have the 6th year in the interim that you're allowed to perform work on labor on your fields. So this servant is related to that concept of laboring on your field. So more than that this servant also corresponds to, let's say, in the 3rd year that he works for you, it's actually a Yovel year, which is a 50th year in that cycle. 50th year of the cycle of 7. So we have 7 cycles of 7 years. It's called Seva Shmitod. And the 50th year will be Yovel. So let's say a person bought him on the 47th year, and it happened to be now the 4th year of his servitude, even though he was supposed to serve for 6 years, but his 4th year of the servitude is the Yovel year. If that's the case, the master has to send him free. Oh, begir on kesef, or somebody came and his family member said, "Yeah, the money that you." So the way that acquisition happened was that he was a servant. Let's say he bought him for $600, which would translate to $100 per year. He worked for him one year, so he 100 years paid off. So now what happens is one of the family members brings in $500. Now he has to set him free. All right, he has no choice. Or in a case where a master dies within the 7th year period and he doesn't have a son. What about a servant that says, I want to serve my master because I love him, and he wants to serve him for the next 50 years if he has a wife and all the things over there that now he's called nirtza. What they do is they make a hole in his ear. So everything that the sages teach us, as it says over there from the way that they're darshaning the psukim, as it says over there in the Masechta Kiddushin. The first chapter of Kiddushin, pages 14, side 2, pages 22, side 2. Let's continue. What's the foundation of this mitzvah? The Rabbi tells us, שרצה האל שיהיה עם עמו ישראל אשר בחר העם הקדוש מלא ומבוטר בכל מידות טובות ומעולות. So now, what's the concept over here? I told you that there's benefits from everybody. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted us to have this good attributes, right? כי מתוך כך תחול הברכה עליהם. And that's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bless us. What is this? What's going on here? Over here we are showing kindness and mercy from the most best attributes of this world. And therefore, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded us that anyone who is beneath us, in this situation is a Jewish servant who is your servant, So he's below you. He's under your control, so to speak. Right? Therefore, you should have mercy on him. Kasher katuv beparasha, it says over there, כמו שידענו גם כן בקבלה, as we already explained, the Rabbi says it's a very knowledgeable thing here. What happened? Okay, what happened was that this Jew, unfortunately, stole a cow. He stole a cow and he sold the cow. So since he stole and he sold the cow, or he shechted and ate it, he would have to return 5 times the amount of the cow. But he can't afford a cow. So in that case, he will be sold for the difference of the Beit Din will evaluate the value of his theft and the punishment. And then he doesn't have money. Well, what happened was he will be sold. Obviously, they will be looking for somebody who's becoming a chacham to buy him, somebody with money who could afford. And besides that, also he has to have tributes of a merciful person, as our sages teach us. Also, Dinei Mitzvah. So now this guy is being sold to his master, and the master has to, as they say, the master has to re-educate this person. The person will see how his master taking care of him, how he went below the dignity. There's a lot of musar. There's a lot of limud, proper limud coming in involvement. This person unfortunately went through such a rot that he decided to steal. So we give him into a person, a Talmid Chacham. We give him an opportunity to do tshuva. And it's not like Chas v'Shalom in this Goyim system to put people in jail and they become even worse. Chas v'Shalom. We give it to a person, to a Talmid Chacham, who the rule is, if Talmid Chacham had a flood and he has only one pillow now to sleep on, and he has to give that pillow, the leftover pillow, to that servant, because again, as the Torah Gemara says, kana evet, kana adon la'atzmo, you're buying a master for yourself, and obviously there's a lot of benefit for the besides beneficially for the financial benefits that the person gains from the servant. As obviously, if that's why people have workers. Obviously, there's financial benefit. Same thing from the servant. Besides that, it also trains us how to become more feeling and more considerate for other people. So obviously, there's a lot of laws involved in reference to some some Jewish guys decided to sell themselves for money, or a Beit Din sells them. So there's a lot of rules involved in that. And obviously there's also rules how to acquire the servant. And what ways he goes out. All the other rules are everything is discussed on pages 14 and 22 as we said in Masechta Kiddushin. This mitzvah is only by males and not by females. She'en ha'isha kona eved ivri, chas v'shalom, a balabosta, she's never allowed to acquire a Jewish servant. Yes, there is no, what do they call that, feminism in Judaism, chas v'shalom, there is no equal rights. In this respect, it's not sanua, it's improper for a woman to buy a Jewish servant. Davka, bizman she'Yisrael sheroin alav matan, that was only done specifically when the Beit HaMikdash was or the Jewish people were all were concentrated in Eretz Israel. שכן בא הפירוש המקובל שאין עבד עברי נוהג אלא בזמן שחיו נוהג. So obviously the 50th year only corresponds when all the Jews are concentrated in Israel. If it's not, then there is no such a mitzvah. As it says over there in Masechta Arachin, page 29, first side. ומפורש הוא שדין היובל אינו אלא בארץ. Of course, that we know that the Yovel rules are only applied in Eretz Israel. ועובר עליה ולא עשה לעבד מה שכתוב בו, חס ושלום, a Jew did not fulfill what it's written specifically for the Jewish servant. Betel Aseh, and he didn't do all the mitzvah as the Torah commands us. He has transgressed a king's order. And also more than that, it teaches himself how to be achzari, how to be a person who is wicked. And it's like as if a person testifying on himself that he's not of a Jewish descent. For the Jewish nation, every Jewish descendant is merciful, the children of merciful. And chas v'shalom, we are not of the nature of harming people, and Hashem should have protection. And send you a lot of bracha, and nachat.